All right, welcome back. We're here with our 1987 Topps in the rack packs. Should be 24 packs. With 48 cards apiece out of this 87 set. So let's see what we can get here. Sorry for all the noise, these are not a quiet open. Alright, first one, let's see. Let's see what we've got. Julio Cruz, Bob Rogers, Nielsen, Francona, Kelly Downs, Dickie Song, John Moses, Brookins, Ricky Henderson, that didn't take us too long. Keith Hernandez on the All-Star. Mike Marshall. Cecil Cooper. Got an 86 record breaker, Todd Worrell. Bergman. Mason. Dwight Evans on a record breaker. Got a Cardinal leaders there. Kipper. Chico Walker. Narone. Bob Melvin. Joe Price. An A's leader. Ray, Corrales, Dennis Powell, Lou Whitaker on the All-Star. Neil Allen, Jose Uribe, Chris Brown, Cleaver, Burleson, Tony Pena, Mike Fitzgerald, Charlie Leibrandt with the Royals. Anybody who's tuned in knows I like to keep the Royals. Clancy, Tom Hinkie, Finn Schrum, Almond. Not a bad pack there. Got a Ricky Henderson already. Again, sorry for the noise. These are just loud to open. Alright, let's see what we've got here in this pack. Johnny Ray. Tommy John, those of you who are fans of surgery. Eric Davis, that's a good card. Steve Pichel. Dan Quisenberry with the Royals. Jose Canseco on an All-Star rookie. It's a good card. Ozzie Smith. Put him in front of Ricky there. Rigetti on the record breaker. Gullickson. Myers. Bobby Meacham. Castillo. Pergassi. Lowry. Do you have any favorite cards in this set? There are a lot of cards. Fernando Valenzuela. The All-Star card there. Hal McRae. Designated hitter. Later was the manager while his son was on the team. Brian McRae. Joe Carter. Jack Clark. Darryl Motley for the Royals. Howard Johnson. Jody Davis. Gruber. Brock. Garvey. Van Slunk and Pete O'Brien. So we're a couple packs in here. making a little bit more room. Now these are definitely noisy to open. Alright, let's see what stack 3 here has for us. The Herrera All-Star. Mel Hall. Jay Tibbs. Ron Washington. Terry Pendleton. Laudner. Glenn Davis. Lopez. Scott. Winningham. Matt Young. Tudor. Steve Jeltz. Devin White. Chris Bando. Mike Balicki. Terry Kennedy. Future stars there with the Dave Magadan. I don't know how much of a future star he was, but let's get another little rack here. You won't be able to see it, but I'm going to put the future stars over there. Royals manager, Dick Hauser. Espinosa, DePino. Pitcher for the Royals, Scott Bankhead. Tom O'Malley, Earl Weaver. Rick Cerrone, Dave Warren, John Crook. Doug Sisk, Tony Walker. Don Mattingly, American League All-Star. Kirby Puckett. Good one there. Frazier. Then Phillies leaders. Terry Poole. Dave Henderson. Sirich. Bobby Witt. Son plays for the Royals now. Tony La Russa. White Sox leaders. Mike Schmidt on the All-Star card. Barry Larkin. Bosio. Yes. Let's see if we can get some of these to open more easily. Alright, let's see what we've got in this one. Nolan Ryan. Right on the top there. Rasmussen, Minton, Robinson, Newman, Lamone, Flanagan, Ojeda, Lou Whitaker, Cliff Johnson, Jack Morris, Steve Carlton, pitcher for the White Sox, Polito, Connell, Moore, Cal Ripken, 86 All-Star, Brinley, Backman, Maldonado, Lacey, Tony Fernandez, Moreno, Dave Righetti, Mel Hall, Jay Tibbs, Ron Washington, Terry Pendleton, Twins, Laudner, Lou Piniella, Reed, Dedman, Angels, leaders there, and Heap, Dave Righetti on the All-Star, Kruger, George Bell on the All-Star, Keith Moreland, Roger Craig, Garber, Otis Nixon, fun to watch, Dave Stewart, Checklist, and Jeff Calhoun. That one was a little easy. Again, if you're interested in any cards, you can check out our eBay store. Check out our Discord. Cards there before we put them on eBay usually. Work on getting you a decent deal if there's something in here you want. Lance Parrish on the 86 All-Star. Glenn Davis. Lopez. Mike Scott. Soto, Rick Dempsey, Dale Murphy, Pettis, Tony Phillips, Mickey Tettleton, Sparky Anderson. I don't know how many of you watch baseball these days, but Sparky never looked very happy. Lynch, Diaz, Daly, Gutierrez, Tom Waddell, Ron Kittle, Stan Javier, another Royal. Always keep the Royals. Kingman, Danny Tartable, who's with the Mariners a couple years later with the Royals. Indians leaders, Eric Show, McMurtry. Turn back the clock with a Reggie Jackson. That down there. Don't have any more room. Ryan Sandberg. Rangers leaders. Dave Winfield. Bud Black. Pitcher with the Royals. Get this last little pack out of here. You spend some time with us. I do appreciate you coming by. Every little bit you're watching helps. Get the channel out there. Anything we make just goes into buying new rips, and hopefully we can get you all some cards. Greg Swindell, Brown, Tigers leaders. There's old Sparky. Checklist. Havens, Gorman Thomas, Andres Thomas on the rated All-Star rookie, Leach, All-Star here, Dave Parker, Future Stars, Rick Anderson, Braves leaders, Harold Reynolds, All-Star card there, Jim Rice, Mitch Williams, another Royal there, Salazar. Who's Bochy? Bob McClure, Doug Drabeck. Ken Griffey Sr. there with the Braves. Estefano. Jamie Quirk with the Royals. Tim Conroy. Royals, Manny Lee. Ricky Henderson, 1986 All-Star. Good card there. Sid Bream. Dave Anderson. Stubbs. Billy Sample. Jim Key. Bill Russell. Paul Molitor. Randy Bush. Bob Welch. Mike Davis. Bessie Barfield. Brooke Jacoby. Rafael Santana. R.J. Reynolds. Mike Brown. These cards or these boxes of these rack packs have so many cards. They're not all great, but definitely fun to go back in time a little bit. If we get another pack of these, I'm definitely just going to have scissors. That's what I should have done. But whoops, I'll put those on upside down. Alright, let's see what we've got here. The 86 All-Star there, Ryan Sandberg. I think he passed away not too long ago. Always enjoyed Ryan. From all accounts, a pretty good guy too. Mike Schmidt was sort of. If you're in here, drop a comment. Tell me your favorite player is to collect and if we've seen him. Have you seen him in our stack? Alexander here, Mariners leaders. Tanana, Kurt Young, Dennis Eckersley. He'd already been out for a long time. Came in at 75. Gerald Perry. Greg Matthews, Howell, Felder, Buddy Bill, Bill Swift, Ozzie Virgil, Wade Boggs on the All-Star. That's a good card. Got a Mark McGwire here. Very cool card there. We better penny sleeve that up. One of them we're definitely after in this stack here. This box, I mean. Will Clark. Roenke. All-Star. Gary Carter. Barry Jones. Gary Gaetti. Kevin Mitchell with the Mets. Braggs. Rick Honeycutt with the Dodgers. Alright. That Mark McGwire there was in decent shape. Pretty well centered. Might have to see if we can grade that one. I don't send too many in, especially these days. It's definitely hard to get a 10. Might get harder for Beckett also. They were just acquired by PSA's parent company, so we'll see how that goes. Hopefully they won't change anything with what they do. Oh, this is the toughest pack we've had so far to get open here. Especially just trying to be as gentle as we can to get this thing open. Sounds loud just because that cellophane, but that one was tougher. 86 All-Star, Wally Joyner, Gaskell, Taylor, whoops, Whitey, Bob Boone, Shepard, Willis McGee, Gary Carter, Sheet, Sal Nipper, Zane Smith, Mosby, Jim Leland, Vance Law, Dennis Leonard there for the Royals, Frank Viola. Got a lot of printing errors on that one. I don't know if you can see that. A lot of printing errors on that one. Scott Terry, Tolliver. That's why you should just buy these for fun mostly, you know. You'll probably get some decent cards, but very, very few will ever grade out. Like I said, especially these days with everything going on with PSA. Although they'll probably swing back. Ah, Ricky Henderson. Good card there. All-Star Keith Hernandez. Bill Campbell. Mike Marshall, Cecil Cooper, Todd Worrell with the 86 record breakers. Haven't had one of those for a while. Johnny Ray, Ozzie Smith with the All-Star. Love some Osborne, Ozzie Smith, Frank Pastore. Get some of these Royals out. See if we can get this one open a little easier here. Out a little easier as we're trying to be gentle with these cards here. Got a strange card here. The All-Star Rookie, but it's blank on the other side. Got a printing error on it, so I don't know if that'll be worth anything or not, but we'll definitely take a look at that. Matter of fact, maybe we'll sleeve it just in case. Strange. No printing on the back there. Roy Lee Jackson. Buckner. Thompson on the All-Star Rookie. Lugo. Frank White, All-Star Roger Clemens, Greg Pryor for the Royals, Dwayne Murphy, John Butcher, Hawkins, Ruley, Mormon, Lee Smith, Reggie Williams, Camacho, Alan Ashby, McNamara, Ron Reynolds, McGregor, Miller, Neiman, Tom Browning, Joel Youngblood, Dave Winfield on the 86 All-Star, John Franco, Earl Hershiser, always love Earl, Willie Upshaw, Rick Aguilera, Alvin Davis, Kevin Gross, John Denny, Tim Wallach, Steve Yeager, McDowell, Rice, Clements, Craig Walker, Romanek, and Mark Sullivan. Get a few more of these out of the way here. Yeah, about every other one of these gets a lot of trouble. Scissors is probably the answer. I have to remember that for next time. You might have to put my front touch on that one. What side is it on? Alright, let's see what this stack has to offer us here. Todd Worrell with the All-Star Rookie. Turn back the clock there. Roberto Clemente. Royals leaders. That's a good card. For me, anyway. Jose Cruz. Brantley. Jose Guzman. Pirate leaders. Harold Baines. Another Royal. Jamie Moyer. Blue Jay leaders. Andre Thornton. Roger Clemens on the record breaker. Matthews, Dan Plesac, The Point. Kirk Gibson. Rob Murphy. Aquino. Hudson. Astro leaders here. Yogi Berra on the front of that one. Nettles. Mizrock. Fernando Valenzuela. Mets. All-Star Ryan Sandberg. Love to see Ryan. Oh, that might have just been upside down. Royster. Fletcher. Bob Stanley. Kirk McCaskill. Pat Tabor. Whitey Herzog. Bob Boone. Ron Shepard. Willie McGee. Feels like a pattern there. Seen those cards. Alright, let's see what we've got here. Ramen Yao, that's a good card there. Steve Farr, pitcher for the Royals. Wernicke, turn back the clock on Yastrzemski. Downing, Templeton. Bruce Hurst. Turn back the clock on Willis. Scurry, Porter. Rudy Law there for the Royals. Dennis Lamp, Craig Reynolds, Steve Trout, Sellers, Ron Davis, All-Star, Manny Trio, Wegman, Sutcliffe, Ruben Sierra, Hammaker, Johnson, Jones, Greg Groves, Ron Karkovice, Dick Hauser, manager there for the All-Star team. Danny Cox, Bo Diaz, Beatty, Belliard, Charlie Howe, Wynn, Horner, Smith, Stewart, Alfredo Griffin, Sammy Khalifa, Garner, Tim Tuffle. Alright, looking good so far. Get some of these commons out of the way, make some room on our stands here. Joel Skinner, Dodgers leaders. 2 checklists in a row. Fisher, Vandenberg, Spike Ellen, Andres Galarraga, Brett Butler, Wally Joyner there on the Topps rookie All-Star, Steve Sachs, Romero, Dave Parker, Langston, Knepper, another Mariners leader, Tanana, Kurt Young, Dennis Eckersley, Gerald Perry, Ray Soff, Greg Matthews, Ken Howell, Mike Feller, Buddy Bell, Bill Swift, Ozzie Virgil, Scott Terry, Darren Dalton, Fred Tolliver, Wade Boggs, the All-Star card there. Pretty off-centered. Balboni there for the Royals. Randy St. Clair, Gusto, Doc, Dwight Gooden, Cal Daniels, Martinez, Forster, Evans, Denny Martinez, Reardon, Pat Sheridan, Tony Gwynn, Steve Crawford, Vince Coleman, Garcia. Alright, let's see what we've got in this pack. We're probably about halfway through the box here. Still hoping for a George Brett, Carlton Fisk, Alan Trammell, Willie Randolph, Hume, Raman Yount, Steve Farr, pitcher for the Royals, Necki, Yastrzemski on the turn back the clock, Downing, Templeton. Again, if you see anything you like, anything we're opening, you know you need, just drop a comment, send a message. We try to get you the card. Put most of them up on eBay if they're worth something. Put some in the Discord so you can have first dibs on that. Ooh, now Roger Clemens on the All-Star there. It's a good card. Webster, Bob Waft, Hatcher, Keith Hernandez, Leary, Diamond Dawn Mattingly, Danny Gladden, Mike Boddicker, Walling, Dennis Boyd, Darrell Evans. Yeah, if we ever do more rack packs, it's definitely going to have to be scissors. Bruce Hurst. Turn back the clock again on Willis. Scurry. Porter. Rudy Law for the Royals. Dennis Lamp. Kind of a blurry card. Craig Reynolds. High Wall with the rated rookie. Or the Topps All-Star rookie. Turn back the clock with Clemente again. Royals leaders again. Good one, at least for me. Flannery, Jose Cruz, Mickey Brantley, Jose Guzman. On Ashby, McNamara for the manager of the Red Sox. Scott McGregor, Daryl Miller, Neiman, Zavella, Tom Browning, Joel Youngblood, Scaraldi, Herndon, Dave Bergman, Roger Mason, Dwight Evans with the record breaker, Tony Gwynn there on the All-Star card, 86 All-Star, Collins. Just take a minute to appreciate this card. It's George Brett from the 1987 Topps. It's a good card there. George Brett. Of course, he was already in for a long time by then, but just like a good George Brett card. And Goose Gossage, Kirby Puckett. That's another good card. Junior Ortiz, Don Slott, Dave Dravecki, Morrison, Mookie Wilson, Don Baylor, Ed Hearn, Phil Bradley, Lenny Dykstra, and Mike Mason. Teddy Herrera on the 1986 All-Star. Used to like to watch him pitch, but for the life of me, I can't pronounce his name. So if anybody knows his name, let me know, or how to pronounce it. Not his name, I can read that. Ozzie Guillen, Eric Plunk, Sid Fernandez, Rafael Ramirez, Andre Dawson, Tim Lawler. Alright, we're going to have to pause the video for a second. I'm going to try to cut that out of the video. If you're just tuning in or you wonder what was going on, the phone died. And we're going to get started. I finished opening up all the packs while I was charging. And I'll probably cut out that 10 or 12 minutes. Anyway, we're going to get started back here going through these cards. Trevino, Candelara, Dusty Baker, got a Pete Rose there. Again, we cleared off all the cards during the break there just to get them out of the way. Parrish, Waddell, Ron Kittle, Nito, another Royal, buddy. Foley, Wynn, Salas, terribly cut card here. Gene Nelson, Nunez, Darwin, Jones, Eddie Murray. Got an All-Star Cal Ripken, followed by an All-Star Wade Boggs. Pretty awesome. And a Mark McGwire. That's a heck of a pack. Imagine pulling that when you were a kid. Floyd Bannister, Will Clark, Rocky, All-Star Gary Carter, Harry Spillman, Barry Jones, Gary Gaetti, Kevin Mitchell. I always kind of thought that card was kind of neat there with the dust. Hubbard, Carlton Fisk, Alan Trammell. He should be in the Hall of Fame. Willie Randolph, and Hume. Alright, let's get started again. This is going to go a little quicker because we opened all the packs up. George Bell there on the All-Star. Keith Moreland, Roger Craig, Garber, Otis Nixon, Tom Lawless, Dave Stewart, Checklist, Calhoun, that's another one terribly cut. Mickey Tettleton, Sparky, Mike Diaz, Ken Daly, Jackie Gutierrez. This is starting to get bad cut there. All-Star, Darryl Strawberry. Turn the other way here. Cox, Bo Diaz, Jim Beatty, Belliard, Charlie Howell, Wynn, Horner, Nichols, Smith, Stewart, Alfredo Griffin, Sammy Khalifa, Garner, Dixon. Another Mark McGwire. Wow, got pretty lucky with the McGwires here today. Floyd Bannister, Will Clark, Gary Carter on the All-Star again, Spillman, Jones, Gaetti. I think the rest of the pack's pretty similar too. Frank Wills, there was that Kevin Mitchell again that we had. Terry Francona, Kelly Downs, Dickie Thong. Well, we got a couple more McGuires. It would be really awesome to get a couple more George Bretts. Wow, Cal Ripken here. Alfredo Griffin, Sammy Khalifa again, Garner, Tim Tuffle. Royster, Fletcher, Stanley, McCaskill, Tabor, Bobby Witt, Tony La Russa, manager card, White Sox leader card, All-Star Mike Schmidt there, Barry Larkin, that's another good card. Put Barry over there that side. Chris Bosio, Hoffman, Teddy Herrera on the All-Star. Future stars there. Red Sox leaders, Bobby Bonilla, and an 86 record breaker. Tony Gwynn on the All-Star. Topps All-Star rookie card. Cal Ripken on the base card. Mark Davis, Tom Candiani, Myers, Larry Anderson, Milt Thompson, Mike Moore, Cowan, Kurt Stillwell, Pinkovitz, Lyons, Felsky, Alejandro Pena, Bip Roberts, Terry McColland, and Dave Palmer. Let's get some of these commons out of the way. One thing about this year in cards, the stack of commons that you're going to have is a little outrageous. Alright, let's go here. Dave Wynn on the All-Star card. Steve Yeager, McDowell, Rice, Clements, Greg Walker, Romanek, Mark Sullivan, Neil Allen, Jose Uribe, Chris Brown, Clear, Burleson, Tony Pena, catcher for the Pirates. It's a good card. Mike Fitzgerald, Cubbies leaders. Joel Davis, Hoyt, Knowles, Jose De Leon, Chuck Tanner, Yankees leaders. Is that Ricky Henderson out there with, oh, that's terribly cut though. I don't know if you can see that. Wow. Terribly cut card, but that's a good card. Mike Greenwell, Lonnie Smith for the Royals, Ricardo, Chuck Carey, Hill, Welsh, Stone, Wilfong, Fernando Valenzuela there on the All-Star. Down here, Jody Davis, Kelly Gruber, Durham, Willie McGee, Steve Garvey, Andy Van Slyke, O'Brien, Brenly, Beckman, Mosby, Lee Lacy, Tony Fernandez. These are upside down too. Charlie Howe, Wynn, and Horner. Got a couple more stacks here to go through. Salazar, it's in bad shape. Petrie, Todd Worrell on the All-Star. Brian Dayette, Bradley, Jeff Hamilton, Billy Joe Rubidoux, Madlock, Wade Boggs on the All-Star. Another Mark McGuire. A little off-center to the left, but still love that card. Floyd Bannister, Will Clark, Ronicky, Gary Carter on the All-Star, Spillman, Barry Jones, Portugal, Mike Kingery, Scott Sanderson, Wilkerson, Chuck Finley there for the Angels, Mark Thurman, Woodard, Cabell, Ray, Wolford, Schroeder, Frank Williams, Wanja, Lanier, Lou Whitaker on the All-Star. Charlie Lee Brandt, pitcher for the Royals. Dave Steve, Darryl Strawberry, Jim Clancy, Tom Henke, Ken Schramm, Allman, Hal McRae again, future manager at this point. Sean Dunston, Jack Howell, Joe Carter, Jack Clark, Darryl Motley for the Royals, Howard Johnson, Nick Williams there for the Brewers. That looks like a really good card there. Get that sleeved up. Bo Jackson on the Future Stars here. Let's leave that there in the front. That's a good card there. Steve Lake, Expos leaders. Tony Walker, Don Mattingly on the All-Star, Kirby Puckett on the All-Star, Frazier Atherton, Phillies leaders, Terry Poole, Dave Henderson, Searage. Jackson's a nice pull. Got the George Brett, got Mark McGuire, Hoffman, got the All-Star there, Teddy. Future Stars, where we put that other Future Stars at? Oh, there we go. Same guy as before. Red Sox leaders, Bobby Bonilla, Deshae on the Record Breaker, same one we had before. Tony Gwynn on the All-Star, Salazar, Todd Worrell on the All-Star here, Jeff Hamilton, Billy Joe Rubidoux, Bill Madlock. Getting to some of these that are badly cut here. Again, Gary Reedus, BJ Suroff on the Future Stars, Devin White, Chris Bendo, Kennedy, Future Stars Magdalene. That one is just terrible. Dick Hauser, manager card. Espinosa, Bankhead, pitcher for the Royals. Tom O'Malley, Reedus, Earl Weaver, again, terribly cut. Lance Parrish on the 86 All-Star. Whitey Herzog, Bob Boone, Ron Shepard, Willie McGee, Woodward, Gary Carter, Larry Sheets, Nipper, Smith, Mosby, Leland, Vance Law, Dennis Leonard there, pitching for the Royals. Frank Viola, another good card there. Looks like it might have some printing errors. John Franco. And Earl Hershiser. Alright, need to get some more of these comments out of the way. So we got the Bo Jackson, Mark McGuire, George Brett. There are a couple more I'd like to see, and we have a pretty good stack left, so it's put the rookies up there. It's got a lot of those all-star cards. Alright, there we go. Future Stars again. Bill Donnelly. Red Sox leaders, Bobby Bonilla. Deshae on the record breaker. Gwynn on the All-Star. Ruffin, have that already. Salazar. Petrie. Todd Worrell on the All-Star. DeYet. Bradley. Hamilton. Rubidoo. Madlock. All-Star Wade Boggs. Record breaker Ruben Sierra. Bosley. Thigpen. Bobby Valentine. Lance Parrish on the All-Star. Pete Rose on the manager card. He's got a player card and a manager card in this set. I haven't really seen any, so that's strange to me. John Morris. Gene Michael. Terra. Dave Johnson, manager for the Mets. Jeff Robinson. Snell. Gary Gaetti. Kevin Mitchell. All-Star here. Keith Hernandez. Bill Campbell. Mike Marshall. Cecil Cooper. Searage. Bobby Witt. Tony La Russa, manager card. White Sox leaders card. Mike Schmidt, All-Star card. Barry Larkin. Chris Bosio. Glenn Hoffman. Alright, let's see what else we have here. Parrish. Got one more stack after this, maybe two, depending on if I split it up. Langsford. Bob Tewksbury. Dwyer. Perry. Clutterback. Coles. Reds leader there with Pete Rose. So he had the Reds leader, the manager card, and the player card in these years. Jim Leland. Law. Dennis Leonard. Pitcher for the Royals. Frank Viola. John Franco. Oral Hershiser. Willie Upshaw. Rick Aguilera. Alvin Davis. Kevin Gross. John Denny. Tim Wallach. Tony Walker. All-Star. Don Mattingly. Kirby Puckett. Those usually come in pairs. George Frazier. Atherton. Phillies leader. Terry Poole. Dave Henderson. Searage. Witt. Rutha. White Sox leaders. Mike Schmidt. All-Star. Oops. Barry Larkin again. Chris Bosio. Alright, I'll split this last one in half just to see what else we can get. One more after this. Castillo. Lowry. Tom Kelly. Chris Spear. Andy Allison with the All-Star rookie. Gross. Padres leaders. Ron Robinson. Mark Bailey. Lou Piniella. Jeff Reed. Dedmond. Angels leaders. Johnny Heap. Dave Righetti with the All-Star card here. All-Star manager. Whitey Herzog. Another guy I used to like to watch, but can't pronounce his name. Tim Rock Raines, Ozzie Guillen, Eric Plunk, Sid Fernandez, Rafael Ramirez, Andre Dawson, Tim Lawler, Wolford, Trevino, Candelaria, Dusty Baker, Pete Rose on the player card, Ossenmacher, Samuel, Parrish, Pirates leader card here, Harold Baines, Lefferts, Jorge Orta, Jamie Moyer, Blue Jay leaders, Andre Thornton, record breaker. I think it might be the first one for Roger Clemens that we've got. That 86 record breaker. Dick Williams, Jeff Russell, Mike Heath, Mark Eichhorn, and Drew. Bo Jackson again. It's a little off center to the left, I think. There's a couple Bo Jacksons. The other Bo Jackson, I think, was in better shape. George Brett. I'd really like to have another Brett, but can't get greedy. We've had a pretty good run here. A's leaders. Dallas, Dennis Powell. Avery Getty on the record breaker. Gullickson, Williams. Meacham, Keith Hernandez. Vita Blue. Yalmans, McWilliams, Benedict, Harris, Mike Young, McDowell, Fred Lynn, Ernie Riles, Tim Burke, Jose Rio, Julio Franco, Billy Hatcher, Mullenix, and Ken Dixon. So we've got some, got that George Brett. One of the highlights for me. Got this Topps All-Star rookie that's blank on the other side. Got a Mark McGwire there. 2 Bo Jackson future stars. Let's see if we can go over any of these other hits. I cleared off the other ones, but Pete Rose, Barry Larkin, Pete Rose manager card, Barry Larkin, Earl Horshizer, Mark McGwire, Cal Ripken, a couple more Mark McGwires, and a Pete Rose. If you're watching, you see anything you like, send us a message, drop a comment. We'll see all of it. Join the Discord if you want first access to any cards that we might be thinking about listing or getting rid of. There's a few of these that will PC, but for the most part, if there's something you want, drop us a comment. Let us know. Appreciate you stopping by, especially if you made it the whole time. Well, I'm going to be out of here. So have a good day and God bless.